And as the countdown to the 2019 general election begins, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is asking all resident electoral commissioners to stay on the side of the law. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who said this at a meeting with the RECs in Abuja, restated the commitment of the electoral body to deliver free, fair and credible election in 2019. He warned the RECs to be wary of politicians who may want to influence the votes.
As I welcome you to this meeting, and as we approach the 2019 general elections, I wish to draw your attention to the necessity to stand firm, be very firm on the side of the law and the people of Nigeria, who deserve nothing less than free and fair elections. You should not be distracted, especially by partisan comments from any quarters. As the 2019 elections draw closer, there will be attempts to draw the Commission into needless controversies. You must not descend into the arena. Remain focused on the goal of serving Nigeria conscientiously, transparently, committedly, doggedly, and always in accordance with the law. Our responsibility to the nation can never be compromised. Your role is pivotal to the success of elections. The feedback we receive from you is also essential to the fine-tuning of policy. And in this way, both the headquarters and the states work in synergy on matters of policy and practice.
And on to judicial matters. The trial of the Senate President Bukola Saraki at the Code of Conduct Tribunal has been adjourned till March the 8th for parties to adopt their final brief. The matter was adjourned by the CCT chairman, Mr. Adaladi Umar, following claims by the defense lead counsel, Mr. Kano Agabi, that he was served with the brief of the prosecution on February the 26th. Although the prosecutor, Rotimi Jacobs, admitted that his brief was served late, he blamed the defense on the grounds that their own brief of argument was served on him after 7 days, as ordered by the tribunal. The CCT chairman explained that after the formal adoption of the written address, the tribunal will take a date for judgment in the suit which commenced since 2015.
Prosecution's written address, final written address, we were only served with it yesterday. And you know how critical this case is. This is not a case that you orally address the courts. It's a matter that you need to write something and help the courts with your arguments. And so it wouldn't have been the right thing for us to address the courts orally, particularly since the rules of courts and the law allows us to put in written addresses. And you mustn't forget that during the last adjourned date, the court itself had given us 7 days to prepare and file our reply address. So it was necessary. Let us have those 7 days, and that's really what happened.
They were in a hurry to go on with the case before, and only for them to file their papers out of time. So, and I raised objection to all those things. That is not fair for them to accuse us of delay when they were the one delaying. So that's the only simple thing I
Well, it's time now to rejoin Ladi in our Lagos studio for more on the news at 10. Ladi.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. The chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Sage, says there's too much lip service paid to the fight against corruption. Professor Sage is asking all arms of government to work together in the fight against corruption, but he wants particularly the legislature to fight budget padding and unjust remuneration. He was speaking at the opening of a dialogue on anti-corruption in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja.
Currently, there's too much lip service in the fight against corruption. At times, people enjoying public trust over our public assets help themselves to such assets that are under their control and then go on to condemn corruption in other arms of government, totally oblivious that they themselves are the guiltiest of this offense. For example, I think the legislature should fight budget padding, unjust remuneration, and they should pass all pending anti-corruption bills. Judges must have zero tolerance to lawyers who approach them to compromise them. Rather, they should expose them, such lawyers, and have them struck off the road. All judges should be prepared to bring to justice any of their own colleagues who accept or demand bribes. These are the ones who rubbish the image of the judiciary and certainly not legitimate critics of such gross misconduct.
The Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has unveiled a document, the Maritime Industry Forecast for 2018-2019. Giving an insight into the compilation, the Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Dekoko Peterside, says investors and stakeholders can now make informed decisions as projections for the sector are now available on the shelves.
You've heard of weather forecast as a reliable data and means to organize your activity. Well, this is not a meteorological event. It's a listening forum aimed at providing navigational aid for the growth of maritime sector in Nigeria. It's been christened Nigeria Maritime Industry Forecast 2018-2019.
The Outlook publication include a review of developments in the Nigerian maritime industry in 2017, expected international and local developments in policy and regulatory environment for the maritime sector in 2018 and 2019, emerging opportunities and challenges, implications for the maritime industry. The forecast today is part of several initiatives to support the growth of the industry and particularly support local and international investors have a bigger picture of opportunities in our industry.
The compendium has taken into consideration several contingent factors as drivers, including the election year. It also highlights governance structure to attract investment.
Regulation of Nigeria's maritime also does take a significant proportion of its content from the domestication of international agreements to which Nigeria is signed up. And one of the key dimensions in the report that is being presented today is a section where NIMASA has set out those international regulations that will either be domesticated in 2018-2019 or those that have already been domesticated but which will take effect in 2018-2019.
Where you are dealing with a forecast for an industry which is as multidimensional as the maritime industry, you can't avoid relying on factors such as the global economy, oil pricing, and macroeconomic circumstances, which necessarily have to impact and which you necessarily don't have control over.
That is it. Thank you.
So why wink in the dark when you can hedge? Projections are in the green zones for the sector in same vein as opportunities. If you're looking to do business in this sector, here is your guide. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
And from there, it's on to business news for tonight. And here is Anne Nwawodo.
Thanks a lot, Ladi, and welcome to Business News. The Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation says it's in its final stage of talks with two consortiums to revamp the country's refineries. The first group is made up of the world's largest oil trader, Vitol, Italy's Saipem, U.S. firm General Electric, Sahara Group, and MRS Oil Nigeria, which will refurbish the Warri refineries in Delta and Kaduna states. The second consortium includes global commodities trader Trafigura, Italian oil major Eni, Spanish refiner Cepsa, and Nigeria's Owando. They are all expected to carry out repairs of two refining plants in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. This recent move is aimed at helping the country save billions of dollars on fuel imports. One of Nigeria's foremost financial services group, FCNB, has been certified as a great place to work after a successful trust index test. The award was presented to FCNB in Lagos by a US-based global research firm, the GPTW Institute.
That's the presentation of the Great Place to Work mementos to some executives of FCMB. Mr. Michael Oni is the Executive Director of Great Place to Work Nigeria. He explains how FCMB earns the recognition of the initiative through its commitment to human capital development.
What this reveals is that FCMB is viewed in the minds of the staff as a very, not only great, a very fair working environment and a place that have been identified that they are so much concerned about developing staff towards achieving the organization goals.
FCMB Senior Vice President Corporate Services, Ms. Felicia Obozuwa, recounts how the bank achieved the feat after 4 years of repeated entries via a survey that eventually earned positive response from the staff.
We created a career management portal that gave employees the power to put their careers in their hands. So what we did was, we have about 520 job roles in the bank. So we put all those roles in the portal, and each role has a competence. So we have each role and a competence. So you will see the role in your job family, and if you want to move upwards in your job family or outside your job family, it shows you the competencies you need to be able to move to a higher job.
For FCMB, the award is the corollary to dispensing better services.
Our people, they are our assets. And we know that for us to get to that our goal, we need to ensure that they are happy so that they could deliver that services that we had promised our customers.
This is just the first step, and we would really continue to build on our strengths and to work on the areas that the Great Place to Work identified to us to ensure that we continue to be certified every year and our employees are very happy with us.
Great Place to Work surveys were sent to a cross-section of FCMB employees, 84% of which takes pride in working for the organization and agrees to FCMB as being great.
Negative sentiments dominated the local stock market at the close of today's trading session as profit-taking hit the share price of some blue stocks. For details on today's transactions, let's join Layo Adegoke.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Heavy sell-offs from the banking, industrial and consumer goods sector of the NSE pulled the equities capitalization back by 101 billion naira at the close of today's trading. The impact also led to a 0.66% drop in the all-share index after the market struggled to soft land by 0.02% in Monday's session. 37 stocks led by Africa Prudential were hit by the profit-taking, while the share price of Unity Bank, still basking on reports of intended investment by U.S. private equity firm Milos Global, soared ahead of 17 other gainers. Overall, transaction for the day yielded a total turnover of 438.65 million shares, driven by Transcorp, Diamond Bank and FBN Holdings. And that's the Stock Market Report. I am Layo Adegoke.
Thanks a lot, Layo. It's also a negative picture for most of the world's leading stock markets after new U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell signaled continued rise in interest rates, all to control inflation. That's the numbers for today.